Indian bamboo flute family. Even though Indian bamboo flute is an ancient musical instrument, it is used in all forms of existing music. The reason behind this is that the 12 notes of the world's standard music can be easily used with 2 octaves in pure pitch. The Indian bamboo flute family consists of 12 middle flutes, 12 bass flutes, and 2 top flutes. In addition to this, Shankh Bansuri, bamboo whistle, and pan flutes are also there. Harimurali Flute Academy is sharing the details about the various types of bamboo flutes and their characters in this video.
Hi friends, welcome to a new video of Harimurali Flute Academy. In this video, I am introducing the Indian bamboo flute family. In this video, I am trying to explain the characteristics of Indian bamboo flute, and I will explain different types of bamboo flutes and its usage. Indian bamboo flute is made out of a single piece of bamboo. It's purely a natural instrument. It has one blowing hole and 6 fingering holes, and there is one tuning hole. By using a cork, we close the one side of this bamboo pipe. These are the nylon threads to protect the bamboo from climate changes. We can play all types of music in this world through this bamboo flute. If it is Carnatic, Hindustani, Western, folk, Arabic, any type of music we can play in this instrument. It is the only instrument from the folk tradition using in standard music also. We can divide the bamboo flute family into 3 categories: middle flutes, bass flutes, and the top flutes. First, middle flutes. Middle flutes means the mother tones of these flutes are in middle octaves. Middle flute, again we can divide it into 2 categories. There is 12 middle flutes. These 12 middle flutes we can divide into 2 categories. First one is lower middle flute or normal middle flutes, and the second one is upper middle flute. Lower middle flutes are C, this one is C, and this one is C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. Once again I will say C flute is this, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. These are the normal or lower middle flutes. C flute is the main flute in the lower middle flute family or normal middle flute family. This is C flute. C flute means mother tone of this flute is C middle. Mother tone means in Hindustani style, when we closing this, when the note we can hear, when we closing this 3 finger, this is the mother tone of this flute. We can play C major scale and D major, D minor, D major, E minor, F major, A minor, any scales we can play in this C flute. And in Carnatic system, this flute became D flute. That is another theory. In Hindustani or flute standard style, this flute is C flute. I will just play a piece of music for you. We can play the C, start from C, and we can play a full octave. Middle octave we can play in this flute, and we can play a part of up to G in the bass area, and we can play up to G in the higher octave. This is the we can play the film songs and other light musics and Carnatic music in through this C flute. C flute is a main flute in the bamboo flute family. The second part of the middle flute is upper middle flutes. Upper middle flutes start from G. This flute is G, and G sharp, A sharp, B. I will explain again. G flute, this flute is G, the outside flute is G, and this G sharp, A sharp, B. These are small flutes, but it's not top flutes. It's a upper middle flute. It's producing the mother tones of the notes in this flutes are the notes in upper middle flutes notes like G, A sharp, B, C. This is G flute. G flute means mother tone. This 3-finger closing tone of this flute is G. That means this is the flute start with the upper middle flute family. Okay, upper middle flute family. There is a G, G sharp, A sharp, B. In this flute, G flute is the main flute. Western recorder flutes and whistles, it's similar to the tone position and note position of this G flute. We can start with the G scale and G, A, B, C, and we will get the upper notes like D, E, F sharp, G of upper scale, like okay. This is a folkish tone. This flute has a folkish tone. We can play the folk music in this instrument, like in orchestras, the people playing some music, some types of music. This type of music we can play through this instrument. It's upper middle flutes tones are very sharp. Its volume is very high. Its frequency is very high, and we can play the folk types of music in this instrument. That's all for middle flutes. I hope you understand about the middle flutes of Indian bamboo flute family. The second category of Indian bamboo flute is bass flutes. Bass flutes means the mother tone of these flutes are in bass octaves. There are 12 bass flutes start from B, A sharp, A, and G sharp, G, F sharp, F, E, D sharp flute. I don't have D sharp and C sharp flute. D sharp, D, C sharp. Also, I don't have a C sharp flute. C sharp, C. The bass flutes we can again divide it into two categories: normal bass flutes and double bass flutes. Normal middle flutes are B. We can counting it in descending order: B, A sharp, A, G sharp, G. Once again, B, A sharp, A, G sharp, G are the normal bass flute in the bamboo flute family. This is G bass flute. G bass flute is the main flute in the normal bass flute. Mother tone of the G flute is G. When we closing the this three finger, we will get the bass G note. This G flute is similar to the key flute, similar to the tones in the Western key flute. These notes are G major scale we can play in this G bass flute, like this is the G major scale. It is I think it is similar to the Western key flutes notes, and we can play some of the film songs in this flute, like and we can also play the Western music. Western music and many type of and Hindustani music. We can start with the Hindustani studying. We can start with this G flute. G flute is a main flute in the bamboo flute family. It's a tone quite natural, and we can play very soothing music into in this instrument. The other flutes, also the A sharp flute is similar to the saxophone, and these are the main flutes, and the G sharp flute is the Hindustani people started their studies in G sharp flute. In normal bass flutes, the tones are the mother tones are in normal bass notes, like B, A sharp, A, G sharp, G. The second category of the bass flute is double bass flutes. Double bass flute means the mother tone of these flutes are the notes which are in the double bass octave. Like these flutes are these flutes are F sharp, F, E, D sharp, D, C sharp and C. I don't have C sharp and D sharp flute. That's why I can't explain I can show the flute for you, the C sharp and D sharp, sorry. And the other remaining flute I can explain for you. These are the double bass flute start from F sharp, F, E, D sharp and D sharp, D, C sharp and C. Mother tones or these flutes notes are very bass. It is in double bass octave. The tone is very meditative and very silent tones. Then this flute, I will explain the peculiarities of this, specialties of this double bass flute. This is C bass flute. C bass flute is the biggest flute in my flute collection. There is some Shankh Bansuris are there. I don't get it. The C bass flute, the mother tone of this flute, this C flute is the C in the bass octave. That's why we call it as C bass flute. It is a double bass flute. It's a tone start from the bass C, and we can play the double bass G note in this flute, like this is the double bass G. This flute has a very beautiful tone. This tone is very meditative. We can use this flute for meditation music, and it is very difficult to play. This is a special flute made by Deepak Soni and presented by Mr. Palakkad Sriram to me. And this is fingering. This flute's fingering is very hard. Long day. We want a long time practice to play this instrument. This is all for this. I think you can understand the specialty of this C flute. And there is another flute in the double bass flutes, that is E bass flute. E bass flute, which this flute is using in the Hindustani concert. This flute is used for Hindustani concert. Hariprasad Saudasyaji, Panalala Ghosh, and Ronu Majumdar, Vivek Sonar, many Hindustani musicians doing their concert in E bass flute. E bass flute is important flute in the flute family. Hindustani people doing their concert like